Max 93.1, the Islands rock. It is Wednesday, meaning it is time for the Wednesday wraparound and getting all geared for the playoff run that is right around the corner. Joining me today, Cory Arsenault. How are you, Cory?
Yeah, fantastically. Great Wednesday morning here on the island.
No doubt. I know you're a busy man as you get all geared up for the next batch. Two really hard-fought games at Eastlink Center, against Blainville and Drummondville. A great effort against Drummondville in particular. What did you like about those games against some better teams?
Well, first and foremost, you have to tip your hat to the competition. Drummondville returning Q champions, went to the Memorial Cup last year, a lot of leftover pieces. Would have been really easy for them to sell off some of their bigger pieces and start the rebuild, but they said, you know what, we got a good team. They added to it, and they got a good hockey team. And you know what, the Islanders aren't seeing any backup goaltenders anymore. This team in Charlottetown is for real. Riley Mercer played Thursday night in Moncton and then played back here on Friday night, so back-to-back starts before they played Saturday over in Bathurst. So the point was meaningful, and certainly it was. He was a difference in the hockey game. He's a 5-year star, probably about to sign an NHL-level contract, top 5 across the league in numbers, and he rode that team to the Memorial Cup last year, and he was a 1-0 shutout. The Islanders pushed in the third period to try to solve him, and were unable to do so. So, and the night before, it was Blainville that was in town, and Blainville's another team that, since the Christmas trade deadline, they got one of the top 5 records in the queue. And Felix Hamel, another goaltender that came in, they acquired from Shawinigan. He's 11-1 since the trade, and I thought he was a difference in that hockey game as well. The Islanders only gave up 17 shots in that game to Blainville, a high offensive type team. And this Islanders team's locked in here right now. They're playing terrific defensively. Just offensively, we've seen some struggles early on in the season, and without Matty Butler and Marcus Kiersey, your leading scorer and your leading scorer amongst defensemen, offense has been sometimes difficult to come by. Getting Ross Campbell back against Drummondville certainly was a big boost, but this team needs everybody pulling the rope to be successful, and I didn't think they played terrible by any means. I thought they played very well. Just sometimes the bounces don't go your way, and that's kind of what happened on both winnable games if you had some puck luck. But at the end of the day, you tip your hat to the opposing goaltenders. And I thought Donald Hickey and Nick Ruccia in both games gave the Islanders a chance to win. And at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for.
Absolutely. And they're jumping on the road again for a couple of games before they're back at Eastlink Center again, actually 3 games before they're back. And I know it's kind of an odd question. I've had this conversation with Luke Much as well, but now they're jockeying for position. Do you think that there's a team that you feel like it would be good to try to line up with in round 1, or is it just, be prepared for any opponent?
Well, I think it's be prepared for any opponent. Right now, I think, the goal is to get as high as you can in the standings. They'd love to catch Bathurst for that 6th spot. Right now, if the playoffs start, you're playing the Rimouski Oceanic, and Rimouski's the Memorial Cup host. They're the team that did the biggest buying at the Christmas trade deadline. They got the biggest amount of stars. They haven't been able to catch Moncton. We play them on Saturday to close out the road trip. We've beaten them on home ice. But at the end of the day, this is a team that's going to be playing when most junior hockey teams aren't going to be playing, and they're built for that, right? So right now, you're 5 points behind Bathurst, and you look over. There's a lot of scoreboard watching happening, right? Bathurst. Last weekend they tied a hockey game up with 2 seconds and won it in overtime. They tied a hockey game up the next night, 3 seconds left and won it in overtime. Gordy Dwyer and that Bathurst team is just finding a way to get it done, and they've given themselves a breathing room. But they have a tougher schedule down the stretch, and we play them twice. So those 2 games are really going to determine our fate come playoff time. But you certainly want to gather as much points. I'm not saying if you get to the 6th spot and you play a team like Chicoutimi, it's going to be a cakewalk, but Chicoutimi's much younger. They don't have the star power that Rimouski has. One thing Chicoutimi does have for them, they have the Olympic-sized ice surface, so it's basically an advantage for them every time you step onto their home rink. But, Rimouski's a team that the Islanders have beat. I'll be interested to see how the game goes on Saturday. They just had a big injury on the back end. Spencer Gill, a Riverview defenseman, drafted in the 2nd round, Philadelphia. He's gone out for 3 months. So, that's a big blow to their team, but they have a terrific defenseman in Sherwood Minor Hockey product, Luke Coughlin. It doesn't matter who the Islanders are going to play. It's going to be tough sledding. There's no doubt about that. But this team has a belief the second half of the season. As I talk to players, there's a belief in that dressing room. I'm really excited for the playoffs. We still got 3 weeks to kick off before we get there. A lot of hockey left to be played, and it starts with a big road trip here tonight in Sherbrooke, tomorrow night in Blainville, and Saturday in Rimouski.
That's absolutely right, and I appreciate your insight on that one. And before I let you go, Cory, with these 3 games that they have on the go before they return back to the Eastlink Center, I asked Luke last week when I spoke to him, what are you thinking of the primary keys to the game to continue playing that kind of Coach Halton hockey that they've been doing since the turn of the calendar?
Yeah, I think the Islanders are 22-6-2 when they have the lead, so that's the key, scoring first, especially on the road. This game tonight against Sherbrooke is probably the most winnable game. You're up there, you're rested, you're ready to go. But Thursday night you go to Blainville, you're playing in less than 24 hours, and then to close out the road trip is a little bit of a break in Rimouski. But tonight's a winnable game for the Quebec-born players. This is the last road trip through Quebec, so there'll be a lot of family and friends, a lot of people from Ontario that will make the trip across the border to come watch their family play. So I know the team's excited to go and play. Zach Plummenos from Sherbrooke, he has been outstanding here in the last couple of weeks, and Marcus Kiersey's absence as well. They played Sherbrooke a tight game a couple of weeks ago at the Eastlink Center. So really looking forward to this road trip. It's going to be competitive. There's no doubt about that. They need to keep getting solid goaltending. Defensively, this team is locked in here right now. They just need to find a couple different guys to step up and put the puck in the back of the net. That's what Jim's kind of looking for. If they get some goal scoring spread out throughout their lineup, I like their chances.
Most certainly. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me this morning, Cory. I look forward to talking to you again before the regular season wraps up, and go Islanders.
Go Islanders, go. Have a great day.